Hello there, vinyl community, YouTube and music lovers. It's time to close the door on another month by doing a summary of what that month had been given, and to show the findings of the month known as March. March had been started a little bit slowly. I didn't feel it, I found all that much to begin with, but then all of a sudden it started to rain stuff in different kind of formats, most vinyl singles, as you have seen. I have had to do a special update for new vinyl singles that have been finding, and it will continue this time also with more vinyl singles. But a whole lot of stuff. So March have been a really great month. I'm not going to deny that. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some great records and music that I have been finding this time. And in different kind of formats, almost all kind of formats, and I really mean all. I even have some 78s to show. And I can start with them right away. We have a second-hand store called Återbruket. It's a place where you can rent a shelf and sell stuff, and the place sells it for you. And if it doesn't get sold, you can, if you want, to put them in a bin outside that says for free, and in that free area where you can just pick stuff for free, someone had left 78s and different kind of records. We're not exactly talking Beatles, Presley, Prince, Michael Jackson, that kind of stuff, but it's interesting. It was fun to just walk in there and just take stuff. I found different kind of 78s. It feels like an eternity since I found any great 78s. So I picked what was interesting among jazz and classical, which are the genres that I collect 78s in. So let's start with them. The quality of them was various. Some of them were not all that good, but some of them was actually really, really good. This one was not the best quality, but okay playable. This is, you can see, this is Pericomo with Mitchell Aries and his orchestra and the Ray Charles Singers. You Always Be a Lifetime Sweetheart. And on the other side, Kokomo, I Love You So. Not Beach Boys Kokomo, but Kokomo, I suppose. We have here Bob Chester and his orchestra, I'm Always Chasing Clouds. And on the other side, a total different orchestra, Swing and Sway with Sammy Kaye, You Stepped Out of a Dream. These are foxtrots from different kind of movies. And we have here Ken Griffin organ. I bought an album with Ken Griffin and organ before, an album that I have now given away, that didn't last during my latest culling. But how often do I find a Hammond organ album on 78? So I needed to have at least an organ album on 78. Ken Griffith organ, The Cuckoo Waltz and You Can't Be True Dear. And we have classical music, Jascha Heifetz violin solo with piano on by Milton Kay. Largo al Factutum from The Barber of Seville. the opera in some kind of a new transcription for violin, and Gwerdor Bray, an original Irish melody. So it felt like even longer since I found a classical 78. Even though I have around 50 of them, they don't grow all that much. We have here one of my favorite labels on 78. Talking about Columbia Swing Music Series. This is Woody Herman and his orchestra from the Ralph Burns Suite Summer Sequence, Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3. Really fun to have. Fun to find a little more odder release from big band. Here is a Decca, Mills Brother, Twice as Much, orchestra directed by Sonny Burke. And we have Someone to Care For, also Mills Brothers and Sonny Burke. This one without a sleeve. Telefunken. This is classical music, Intermezzo Sinfonico by Pietro Mascagni. And we have Intermezzo from the opera Baiazzo by Leoncavallo. And it is Walter Lutze that is the conductor of Orchestra der Städtischen Oper Berlin. Some jazz. This wasn't best quality, but hopefully it's some kind of a listenable anyway, because it's George Shearing Quintet, Hallelujah and Undecided, and it's Toots Thielemans, Gene Thielemans that plays the harmonica here, and Carl Tjader at the vibraphone. So this is Carl Tjader. So this one should be very, very interesting. We have Duke Ellington and his orchestra. Not huge fan of these 40s Ellington recordings, but since it was free 78, I couldn't resist. Why not? It's a classic one, Sea Jam Blues, and Moon Mist. And we have the King Cole trio, not King Cole, Lillette and A Woman Always Understands. And I also found some free records, classical ones, classical here. Johann Sebastian Bach and Concerto for Flute, Violin, Piano and Orchestra in A minor. And nice to find, even though I'm not all that fond of this label Concert Hall. Baroque music on vinyl, I couldn't resist. We have I don't know what this is called in English, but Vita Hästen, White Horse by with Max Hansen and Hasse Funk. Really great operette. And we have Rosemary Clooney and Harry James, Over the Rainbow. This might look like 78, but they actually are regular albums. All for free. So, by that we're closing the free the free part and go to the one that I have bought. Starting with singles, a couple of CD singles. It's not often that I find U2 at CD singles these days that I don't have, but this one was interesting. We have Window in the Sky by U2 from 2006. And we have Moby that I also don't find all that often in as a CD singles. This is Body Rock from 1999. And regular singlers, now some more vinyl singles. Some jazz, Swedish pianist Charlie Norman and Harry Lime, the Harry Lime theme, My Guys Come Back, and the army theme, Arméns theme, the army theme. And some interesting. Going to come back to Charlie Norman a bit later. More Swedish jazz, Putte Wickman, the clarinetist, and his orchestra playing Brahms' Lullaby and Mozart's Lullaby in jazz versions, Sea of Love and Lonesome. Pretty much vinyl singles with Putte Wickman in various forms. Teddy Wilson and his trio plays Lisa, The Man I Love, Nice Work If You Can Get It, and Summertime. All songs by Gershwin brothers, George Gershwin. Mr. Wilson and Mr. Gershwin. This is a single that I bought for two reasons. This is John Lennon's Feels Like Starting Over. I bought it because I like the song, no doubt about it. This is definitely one of John Lennon's best songs. And the other one, Yoko Ono's Kiss Kiss Kiss. Now, there might be some split opinions about this, but I feel that this song is actually more hilariously funny than actually good. It's one of these that I actually do love, where you're thinking, whatever did they think of when they released this on vinyl? Especially when Yoko Ono all of a sudden starts to sexually moon in the end, like mad. It's totally hilariously stupid song actually. Darte. But it's fun to have actually. Along with, so you can say that I have one side that I actually love, and we have one side that I actually laughed about. This one is a Swedish song that actually some of you might remember because it's hit the charts outside of Sweden also. Talking about Harpo and Movie Star. And we're coming to some vinyl singles that I bought for a little higher price this month that actually really great. I'm not collecting 60s soul, I don't have the place, but if I find something that I really want, I buy it, no doubt, especially if it is with Stevie Wonder. How about this one, Little Stevie Wonder, Fingertips, 12 years old, and oh my god, can this guy play? He's 12 years old, he's blind, and he plays harmonica and sings. This is fantastic, real fantastic. By far the oldest Stevie Wonder I have, and a fantastic single, fantastic played. On the other side is Fingertips Part 2. And Aretha Franklin, I Can't See Myself Loving You, Gentleman of Mine. This one is from '69. Also the oldest Aretha Franklin that I have. We have Danish musician Sven Asmussen and Ulrik Neumann. I talked about them before when I showed a record with Swedanes along with Swedish Alice Babs. This is the two musicians on their own, and since they're so funny and great in Swedanes, I gave it a shot and bought this one without Alice Babs, and really interesting. Ella Fitzgerald, Ella on Stage, Mac the Knife, and Too Darn Hot, and Stomping at the Savoy. And Stomping at the Savoy is very interesting because here we have the elite of jazz musicians. We're talking Stan Getz, Coleman Hawkins, Elonis Jacquet, Lester Young, Flip Phillips, Sonny Stitt, Roy Eldridge, J.J. Johnson, Oscar Peterson, Herb Ellis, Roy Brown, Joe Jones, Connie Kay. that is elite. So and on the other two, it is more regular with piano, guitar, bass, and drums. Not Jim Hall at guitar, but otherwise it's not that famous musician. But always fun to find Ella Fitzgerald. We have a song that some might think that I already have, that should be natural for me as a Swede to have, but I actually didn't have it, and my only reason to buy it was because I'm collecting Eurovision Song Contest old, not new, old Eurovision Song Contest singles, and I guess that I should have it, but I think it's a bit overplayed. I've heard it 9 million times, but okay, it's a classic, no doubt. ABBA's Waterloo. And on the other side, Honey Honey. This is, I think this was some kind of a dance song that was a little bit cult. That was actually real funny. So I bought it. Latour, People Are Still Having Sex. I have a small memory from that song that was actually pretty funny. John Farnham from the Chain Reaction album from 1990, Burn For You. The other side, The Time Has Come. Dawn, Candida from 70s. And the other side, Look At. Tony Orlando and Dawn. Mango Jerry in the Summertime, and Mighty Man at the B-side. This is some kind of French Eurovision Song Contest entrance. Jean-Claude Pascal and Nous les Amoureux. My French is a little bit rusty. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the other titles of this EP. Here are a couple of singles that I found at flea market that was arranged at a place this Saturday. It's not often you can go to a flea market where you can rent a table and stand and sell, and all of a sudden you see a table, two tables just with the record bins. Here in Sundsvall it's very rare. Because I don't know, it attracts mostly old people who sells, and they don't have that much record collection. But this time I had lucky; it was a nice seller also, and I found a couple of singles that I've been looking for a very long time that I was very happy to find. Aura, You and Me Tonight, some 80s soul from 1986, a real great and smart song, especially the quarrel that these two have in the song in the beginning. It's real funny. And Little Mike and the Sweet Soul Music Band. Little Mike is British musician, I think, who have lived in Sweden for many years and done music with this band. And this song, Dance Across the Floor, I heard as a kid, and I remember thinking it was actually real good, so I've been looking for it ever since. Two Unlimited, some techno, Magic Friend. Coming to CDs, we have a Swedish group Kent that I have talked about before, that I'm a huge fan of. This album I have as a copy, but I wanted a real version of their second album, Verkligen. Reality, and some of their breakthrough hits. This was their breakthrough album. This is some jazz that I found that I was very happy to find. Django Reinhardt, and an album released on the low-budget label Naxos, and an album called Belleville. The reason why I bought it was because Django Reinhardt, of course, is mostly known for the French Hot Quintet. But actually this is recordings that It's just a few tracks here with the French hot quintet. Otherwise, it is actually with other orchestras and so on, with regular jazz recordings with French musicians, of course. So this one is very interesting. Not only get a look at French jazz during the 40s, but also Django Reinhardt with different musicians that usually you find when you see Django Reinhardt albums. The Hooters, switching style totally, and a collection called Hooterization, a retrospective. I have a Hooters compilation. I realized when I bought this, not this one, but there were some songs that was on this album that I didn't have on the other one, and especially 2 live recordings that were actually real great. How about the fantastic version of Loose in the Sky with Diamonds? Maybe the best version I ever heard. I'm not a huge fan of the Beatles version, but this one was by the Hooters was really great, and also their version of Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time was also really great. So only for that it was worth buying, even if I have 90% of the songs before. Swedish group Imperiet, a band that I'm a real fan of, some 80s rock music in Swedish. This is a compilation that I have, but I didn't have it with the proper sleeves. I wanted the real cover. I said I was going to come back to Charlie Norman, a Swedish jazz pianist, and here he is in a CD. Charlie Norman Trio, Papa Piano, produced by Swedish great saxophonist Arne Domnerus. I'll give it a shot at that. Here is 2 singers that I had actually no clue who they were. It was more or less a blind buy, but I also made it a little bit safe, because I checked on YouTube to see find anything with these girls, to find out these were good. And I actually found out that this was very good, even if I had no clue who they were. So here is first Lynn Miles, Fall for Beauty, from 2010. Lynn Miles normally is country singer-songwriter. Not all that fan of country, but this doesn't breathe country one bit. It's more like Tom Petty style, maybe. Real great produced. And I really liked the songs I heard on YouTube of this album, so I really wanted a nice copy of it. And the same with this girl, Nancy Griffith, and Flyer, also a woman I had no idea who it was. This one is from 1994. But it was really laid back folk music, singer-songwriter style that I really like. Little touch of country music in the edges. And as I said, no fan of country music, but this actually was real good. So I felt like, yeah, why not buy this one also. Now, let's go to full-length vinyls. This one I bought from the nice seller that I talked about this Saturday. Sniffing the Tears, and a compilation called Retrospective. Listen to this one. This is a fantastic and a must if you want to discover Sniffing the Tears. All their best songs, from Driver's Seat. We have Poison Pen Mail, one of my absolute favorite. Rodeo Drive, fantastic songs. New Lines of Love, real great compilation. A must that I felt like I must have it to my Sniffing the Tears collection. We have something that really had no clue what it is actually, but Johnny Mandel's great jazz score, I Want to Live. It's some kind of a soundtrack from a movie released on United Artists. And it's also here it is a lot of interesting names of jazz musicians, and among other we have Shelly Manne, we have Mel Lewis, we have Red Mitchell, and a whole lot of great in the orchestra. So I think it's some kind of this is of course some kind of project, jazz symphonic. I don't know what it is, but it sounded very, very interesting. It's jazzy style of it anyway. 50s recording, I think. Some Elton John, Caribou, and this one is from 1974, my birth year. It contains Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me in the original. 2 albums with Edmundo Ross, the band leader that plays some Latin easy listening music. One of the easy listening bands that I actually do like. This is Hollywood Cha-Cha, where he plays songs from movies in Latin versions with orchestra. We also have more Edmundo Ross Latin hits I missed, and here we talk different kind of Latin songs: Spanish Flea, Tico Tico, La Bamba in orchestral arrangements. Here is some great stuff that I found. Our record store, Vinylstallet, that I talked about and I have shown a video from, had closed because they have water damage, but now they have finally opened, and I bought myself a couple of records that I really felt I must have. Here we're talking about the soundtrack for the movie Car Wash, with of course Rolls Royce, but also Pointer Sisters, Richard Pryor, and I have way too little with Rolls Royce. Feel ashamed not to have all because they are great. So double LP set with sweet soul music. And this one was really great. I showed in, I think, half a year ago, where I at Vinylstallet bought this one, the Jazz Messengers, at the Café Bohemia, Volume 1. A real great live album, fantastic live album. But I also now managed to find Volume 2. So I have now a complete set of the Jazz Messengers Café Bohemia concert. And this one is also just as great as this one. Really fantastic recordings, especially Yesterday's, fantastic version of Yesterday's. And saving the best for last, this one I found at one of these places that sells sealed new released records. We have those that's at food markets now, giant food markets that sells vinyl, that's showed in a previous video, and I managed to find another one that I felt like I gotta have this one. I have criticized a little bit for just releasing old classics again, instead of having something that is really newer, instead of just selling stuff that you can find for $1 at the ordinary flea market. But I managed to find this one that I felt I gotta have. I paid 100 Swedish crown for it, but it was worth it. David Bowie, and the best of 7 months in America, live radio broadcasts. And this is the best of David Bowie live at Smith Old Bar, Atlanta, 8th April 1997. And we have classics here. We have Scary Monsters, we have Fashion, I'm Afraid of Americans, Moonish Daydream. Wow. And I haven't listened to it yet. It's still sealed because I felt like, why not? Let's make a sealed to revealed. Are those videos, people still making those videos? I haven't seen one in a long time. I don't know, maybe I look in the wrong places. But let's open it live. Oh my god. It'll be very interesting to listen to this one. I don't have the time right now to do a review. Maybe I'll do it in a later video. This one is real interesting. So, David Bowie live from 1997. So, with that, I hope that you have enjoyed my walkthrough with this month's findings. I hope that each and every one of you have a real nice time now when we can hope that spring soon might come, and that you take care no matter where you are, no matter what you do. So take care and see ya.